Hi friends, welcome back to the Saffron Box. I'm Yamini Sharma and today I'll be talking to you about the month of January 2025, the first month of the English calendar, and how does this month look like. So we'll understand the planetary transits. In fact, this is the month when Uttarayan starts, Sun enters the Makar Rashi. So an important event takes place. This is an important time where when Uttarayan starts, it's a milestone which each year has to be seen. Right, we'll understand the other planetary transits as well, and then I'll talk about all the rising signs, all the ascendants, and we'll understand what is the impact of all these transits happening on all these signs. So, first thing which you need to keep in mind is the promise in your natal chart. Do not ever forget that your natal chart is the basic foundation of your life, and thereafter the ongoing dashas come and transits deliver those results, right? So this is something which I'm sure a lot of you are very clear about it, because it is my duty to put things in the right perspective, and which I always do. So we'll understand the transits, and the first transit of the month of January 2025 is of Mercury, where Mercury moves from the sign of Scorpio into the sign of Sagittarius on the 4th of January. Then the next movement is of Sun, when Sun moves out of the sign of Sagittarius and enters the sign of Capricorn, that is Makar. It enters Makar Rashi on the 14th of Jan, which also marks Makar Sankranti, a very important event, a very important day. It is celebrated like a festival in the entire country, right? Then we see Mars moving backwards. Mars is currently retrograde, we are aware of that, and it is in the sign of debility also, right? It's in the sign of Cancer. So Mars will move backwards into the sign of Gemini on the 22nd of Jan. The next movement is again of Mercury, where Mercury will be moving out of the sign of Sagittarius into the sign of Capricorn, where it will join Sun. Apart from this, the last transit of the month will be Venus moving into the sign of Pisces. So Venus will be, with Saturn for the first 27 days of the month. So Saturn and Venus will be conjunct in the sign of Aquarius, and then Venus moves out and moves into its sign of exaltation, that is Pisces, and joins Rahu over there. So do remember that Venus is going to be very close in degrees. Right now also it's close to Saturn in terms of degrees, and when it enters the sign of Pisces, there also the proximity with Rahu is going to be pretty close, right? So that will happen on the 28th of Jan. Apart from this, we have Jupiter currently retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Jupiter is going to remain in retrogression for this entire month. Saturn is in Aquarius, Rahu is in the sign of Pisces, and Ketu is in the sign of Virgo. So a very important thing in terms of the transits which is taking place is, as I mentioned, the Saturn Venus conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, and Venus getting exalted and joining Rahu. Now Venus and Rahu, Venus is friends with Saturn also, and Venus is friends with Rahu also. But when Venus exalts, and that too with close conjunction of Rahu, this is a very noteworthy point. Venus exalts in the sign of Pisces, which is owned by Jupiter, and Jupiter is also currently in the sign of Venus. It's in a Venetian sign of Taurus, right? So there's going to be an exchange of signs in a way, where Jupiter is going to be in the Taurus, that is a Venus sign, and Venus is going to be in the Jupiterian sign of Pisces, and it will be further amplified with the presence of Rahu's energy. So this is a very important and a very noteworthy thing as well. Apart from this, Mars is this time around in this cycle of in this movement across the zodiacal belt, Mars is going to be in debilitation for a very long time, and now Mars is coming back into another inimical sign of Gemini on the 22nd of Jan. So this is again something which is noteworthy because it is going to impact the way we communicate, the way we debate, the way we come across. So people in the field of social media, or public image, if it's important for you, all those places wherever we have to communicate, or sometimes even by default the way we communicate with our neighbors, with our siblings, all, one has to be very cautious here, because Mars can trigger that. Mars can become very volatile, and it can trigger some problems in communication, right? So this is applicable to all, irrespective of uh, whatever sign, wherever your sign of Gemini falls in, because this kind of impact is always seen. And Mars is also under debilitation for a very long time, and retrogression too, so the impact is pretty high. The cheshta bal of Mars is very high. Now we'll move on to the signs. I'll talk about all the rising signs, all the ascendants. But before I go ahead, do remember to subscribe if you haven't done it already. And if you like the content, do remember to give me a thumbs up, give me a like, which is right under the video as well. So let's talk about the transits. The first sign which I'm going to be talking about is the sign of Aries. So for Aries, one must remember that the Lagnesh is Mars itself, and Mars is under debilitation in the 4th house. So anyways, this is in fact, I've mentioned it earlier in my previous videos as well. I've done a video on Mars stay in Cancer also for a pretty long time. I'll be putting the link in the description section. So the Lagnesh is anyways under debilitation, and on top of it, now it's going to move backwards, becoming further retrograde, and entering into the sign of Gemini. So here for you it is specially applicable if you are Aries ascendant, Aries rising. Please be very careful about how you're communicating, right? And this energy is here to stay for some time. So your friends, family, mother, your relatives, your co-bonds, siblings, your neighbors, the way you communicate with everybody, I mean, this covers so many things, right? So the way you communicate is going to be very, very important, and sometimes very challenging also. So this is the period where usually people start challenging others. Okay, I dare you to say this, I dare you to do that. This is a period, when the Lagnesh is in such a state, and that too Mars. This is the time phase when you will see maximum people taking up challenges, sometimes very foolishly also, right? So wherever you take a challenge up, wherever you take initiative, you've got to be very logical. You've got to be very, very clear in your mind as to what you're taking up, what kind of projects are you taking up, what kind of challenges are you taking up. And do not get impulse, or in some cases I would say foolhardiness, take the better of you, right? So bravery is rightly it can be used in the right fashion, but you need to see, you need to choose where you need to be brave, where you need to take the initiative. And this may be applicable to people in the social media, who are very, very who are very much in the public eye, where you end up saying something and it blasts into something else totally for the wrong reasons. So you've got to be careful, very careful out there. Apart from this, we also see the dispositor of Mars, that is Mars is going to be in the sign of Gemini, and the dispositor of Mars, that is Mercury. Now Mercury, you must remember, is Mercury is the grade 1 malefic for Aries ascendant, right? So Mercury is anyways in the 8th house in the sign of Scorpio for you. So it's anyways making a, it's not in a comfortable state, and from here it's going to exit out into the sign of Sagittarius. There would be some relief. Mercury would be aspecting its own sign of Gemini as well. but nevertheless, the things I said earlier will remain, something to be very careful about. So the first initial part of the month, you need to be careful, especially with Mercury also being here. Now Mercury moves into the sign of Sagittarius, so Mercury will be conjunct with Sun initially for some time, and then it'll move on further to the sign of Capricorn as well. Here when it moves into the sign of Capricorn, it does get the benefic aspect of Jupiter as well. So I would say work wise, it is better to channelize your energy towards your work side, towards your profession, towards your work, and there as well keep your communication in check. Do not indulge into office gossip and all those things which while away your time, right? So you've got to be managing your time properly. Be especially careful about the kind of paperwork you do, right? So if you are in a government organization, or you are in such an organization where paperwork matters on a daily basis, say if you are in the banking sector etc., finance etc., where paperwork matters, agreements matter, you may be a lawyer as well. So all these professions, you get what I mean. Here you need to be very careful about how your paperwork goes as well, right? Apart from this, as the month progresses, we also see this Saturn Venus conjunction in the 11th house, which is again good. So it gives you a good chance of earning money, coming into gains financially. There may be gains coming from your spouse's side as well, or if you're in a business partnership, then your partner also does something good, and you gain in that partnership. So those chances are all also there, present there. Apart from this, then by the end of the month, we also see Venus. Venus is again a Marka Graha for you, second lord and seventh lord. Venus exalts in the 12th house. So this again could be a period of a little confusion sometimes in your marital life. It could be a time phase where you have some kind of a physical separation also from your spouse, so you travel or your spouse is traveling, or this is a time where the last 3 to 4 days of the month, I'm talking about, this is a time when you need to be careful about how you're managing your relationships, right? Your relationship with your spouse in particular. So be careful there. Work wise, this month seems to be pretty good to me from the for the Aries ascendant. Or in case, even if you are appearing for competitive exams and all those things, students etc., also stand to gain during this month. Then moving on to the next sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus rising or a Taurus ascendant, we see Jupiter currently retrograde in your Lagna. Jupiter is going to stay here in retrogression for the entire month, and it's coming very close to its journey in the sign of Taurus. So anyways, Jupiter is going to be retrograde. We also see Mercury leaving your 7th house, moving into the 8th house, and then further carrying on its journey towards the 9th house as well. Your Lagnesh Venus is in the 10th house of profession, 10th house of work, your current sthan, for a good amount of time, for the first 4 weeks of this month, and thereafter it goes into exaltation also. So this is a very good time for Taurus ascendant, I would say. If you have been consistently putting in hard work, you have been working towards your goals, this is a time when things will start paying off. That payoff time is now coming up close. So this Saturn Venus conjunction in your 10th house also, it's going to be pretty eventful or good in terms of the support which you get from your work environment, from your higher ups etc., the kind of opportunities which you get, the kind of initiative which you're ready to take to perform better. So this is a time period where new ideas can be put into action, and how you go about them matters a lot. And then slowly and gradually, as the month ends, some gains may also come through, right? So Venus in exaltation in the 11th house, and an exchange between the 11th and the first lord, that is Venus and Jupiter, is going to be a very good thing to happen, good event, though some of you can expect something unexpected as well. So it may be good also. I'm not saying that everything which is happening unexpected is bad. So for some it could be some inheritance related gain or some sudden gain from other people. So you suddenly win something which is unearned, or there are some gifts which you get, or in any way something which is unearned by you for something for which you have not put in that effort. You could come into such gains as well. Now, another important thing to note for the Taurus ascendant is you have Mars currently retrograde in your third house, and it is going to be moving back into your second house as well. So Mars here is, I would take this with a pinch of salt. Your communication, the journeys which you take up, your day-to-day running around can be impacted. So you have to be careful there. Do not be rash on the road. Be careful while traveling. Also, the way you handle your family members, or the way you handle or communicate with your family members, is going to be very important. So here, because of impulse, some bitter words can come out. Mars here is not good. Mars is not a good planet for you anyways. It's the 7th and the 12th lord, so it holds the it's a marka also, and it is a trik bhava or a dustana lord as well. So this is going to cause some trouble. So that is something which you need to be very wary about. It is important that all that energy which you have in you, especially with Mars being here in this state, it is important to redirect it towards something better, right? Like it could be a physical routine, it could be some kind of sports, some physical activity which you can indulge in. That will be very helpful towards for the Taurus ascendant people as well. Also, Sun is also coming into your ninth house. Sun is your fourth lord. Again, Kendra lord coming into the trinal house, leaving the eighth house, is again a good signal, is again a good transit for you. You could gain from your family, from the support of your family property, or gain from land. All those things can also come into picture, right? You could gain from your father as well, some support, or maybe some help towards your education, paying off certain things for you. So support from the father or some kind of happiness from the father is also indicated, right? So a good time where you can actually work better towards your educational needs as well. And especially for people who are in higher education. So if you are specializing in something, you are specializing in some particular subject, this is a good time. You stand to gain. Your grades could get better, you could do better, you could get a better bonding with your teachers, with your instructors as well. Then moving on to the next sign of Gemini. So if you are a Gemini ascendant, interesting month for you. We have Mars currently in your second house, and Mars is going to be moving into your first house, that is the ascendant, by the end of the month, after the first 3 weeks. So by the 22nd of Jan, you'll see Mars is in your Lagna. Important thing, important point. Again, Mars is not a very positive planet for you. It is the 6th and the 11th lord. So it is the lord of both the growth houses, both the upchay bhavas. But though there could be gains coming in, Mars is the 11th lord as well, there could be more progress, more hard work which you'll have to put in, right? So Mars here, especially for the Gemini ascendant, when this occurs, this is a time period where you really need to put yourself wholeheartedly into whatever work you're doing, whatever karma you are doing. So if you're a student, this is a time to just cut yourself off from anything unnecessary and just get nose deep into your studies. If you are a working professional, again, just cut out whatever is unnecessary. So whatever you do, your focus has to be towards your goal. Mars, the energy of Mars, which comes when it comes to the ascendant, can be utilized like that in a very good way, rather than getting into fights, getting into conflicts with other people. Concentrate on your own work and it will be really helpful. You'll be able to channelize this energy very well. Apart from that, we see your Lagnesh, that is Mercury, moving out of the 6th house, coming to the 7th house, and then moving along with Sun to the 8th house as well. So again, a lot of focus on relationships, a lot of focus on traveling, change of places. All those things are also indicated for you. And if you're somebody who's interested in learning occult subjects, or you want to understand astrology, you want to get deep into spirituality, or all the paravidyas which are not openly taught, which you have to dig deep for, all these mystical sciences, if you are somebody who has an interest in this, which of course your natal chart would indicate, you can actually spend a lot of time, or you can learn all this. You can spend some time reading about all this stuff. So a very good indication for that as well. We also see Venus. Venus is again an important planet for you. It's a trinal lord, it's the 5th lord. Venus is currently in your 9th house, along with Saturn. A good conjunction here, which gives you the support which is required, which gives you the support from your teachers, your gurus, your father, elders in the family, right? And Venus will be exalting in your 10th house. A good indication for people who are looking at change of jobs, or who are looking at change of role, etc. So some kind of change which you're seeking towards your work, towards your job. I think this is a period where that could really fructify. So you could get a better opportunity, you could move into a better role. Those of you who are ready to move out, this may entail a change of location or a change of countries. So if you're somebody who has been waiting for waiting for your immigration process to take place, or waiting for some kind of PR thing to happen, getting a PR, etc. outside, this could be an eventful time, or rather this could be a start of an eventful time as well, right? Relationships wise, again, this seems to be a good period where you should be able to manage your relationships well. If you're doing some business on your own, again, good time. Overall, with that exalted Venus coming in by the end of the month to the 10th house, this is going to indicate good things to you, provided you are able to channelize your energy properly. So if you handle the energy of this volatile Mars properly, you're going to do very well, right? So that is something about the Gemini ascendant. Now let's move on to the next ascendant of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer rising or Cancer ascendant, we already have Mars in your Lagna. Mars is in the 1st house. It is retrograde as well as debilitated, right? Mars is your yoga karak also. It is in the Lagna, not so bad. But again, this energy has to be contained properly. This energy has to be dealt with properly. So in terms of work, in terms of change of position, seeking new opportunities, this seems to be a pretty decent time for you. But by the end of the month, by 22nd of Jan, Mars will be moving backwards into the 12th house. So could be a period of engaging in extra expenditure, or wasting your effort, wasting time. All these things can also happen. So you need to be very careful about how you're spending your resources, how you're spending your time, what kind of projects are you actually taking up, right? So how is it that you're utilizing your skill set? So very important time period, especially for those of you who are looking at change of jobs, etc., right? So you need to be in the right place. So what kind of opportunities are you taking and leaving? That has to be really paid attention to, right? Apart from this, we also see Mercury moving out of your fifth house, coming to the sixth house, and Mercury and Sun will be moving into your seventh house as well and aspecting the Lagna. So again, a good time period where I would say for many of you this could bring in more travel opportunities, change of places, right? So or starting of something new, some new venture you could think of starting, some new initiatives you may think of taking. And this could be an eventful time where you get to collaborate with other people, where you get to work with your siblings or with your old friends and think of something better to do. This also could be a simple travel plan as well. So these kind of things are also indicated for the Cancer ascendant. Sorry. We also have the aspect of Jupiter, which is your ninth lord as well, sixth and ninth lord. Jupiter is also aspecting the seventh house from the 11th house, where it is currently retrograde as well. So the Cheshta Bal is also high. This also could be a period where you get to meet somebody interesting, or some good matchmaking, or some alliance can come through as well. Some good proposal can also come through as well. So eventful time on that side as well. Apart from this, we also have Saturn and Venus conjunction in your 8th house, and then Venus moves out of your 8th house, comes into your 9th house and gets conjunct with Rahu as well, gets exalted as well. So exalted Venus in the 9th house for you could be a good time period for gains. Gains from your father, gains from your elder people in the family, your superiors, etc. Also, there's an interesting exchange happening between the 9th and the 11th lord. Both are good planets and both are Shubh Grahas, having the ownership of good houses, the 9th as well as the 11th. Sorry. So this could mean gain from your education, gain from your elder siblings, gain from your father. So a period of gains may come through in terms of not only monetary gains. This could be some good advice which can work for you, help towards your business, towards your studies. So a very good time I see for the Cancer ascendant as well. Now moving on to the next ascendant of Leo. So if you're a Leo Lagna or a Leo rising, Sun is moving out of your 5th house into the 6th house, and it will also mark the beginning of the Uttarayan period, or Makar Sankranti, which is a very important event takes place when your Lagna Lord, your Lagnesh Sun moves into your 6th house. Also a good time period to pay attention towards your health, pay attention towards whatever is working well for you, towards your routine, towards your good habits. And for Leo ascendant, this is very interesting. Your Lagnesh Sun travels at the same speed every time since time immemorial, right? So it is the most disciplined and the most sorted planet. And every day you get to see your Lagnesh as well. When you see the sunrise, or the whole day you can feel the presence of sun, right? So sun coming into the 6th house, it's like good meaning but strict teacher coming into your life, and he tells you to mend all your bad ways, get rid of laziness, get rid of anything which is not serving properly, all the shadripus, all the bad things, not so good things, and just purify yourself, right? And then get ready to meet the world, get ready to meet other people, forge new relationships. So this is a very interesting time. And we also see Mercury, which is your second as well as 11th lord. The Dhan and the Labh stans are with Mercury. So Mercury is also going to be there with the Sun in the 6th house. So the more efforts you put, the more hard work you do, you get to see more rewards for yourself, you get to see more wealth making opportunities as well. So the the Artha trine is also activated for you. a very good indication, especially the second half when Sun is in the sixth house. Right, this could also be a period that, if you have been suffering from some diseases, some problems, this could be a period where you find solutions or you find better medical care for yourself. So make use of this time period. It comes only once in the whole year, right? And you're lucky, as I said, Leo ascendant is very lucky. You get to see the ascendant Lord Sun every day physically. You can feel his presence, right? Apart from this, now we also see Mars, which is your Yogakara Graha. Mars is in your 12th house, retrograde and debilitated, and it is going to move backwards into the 11th house. So here also this could be a period where, something which was pending till now, something which was due to you till now. It could be in terms of, some gain from property, or some matters of education which was stuck till now. Mars is now able to go back and retrieve it for you. So again, a period where you can use this energy properly. Also, this is a time period where you need to be little extra careful about how you're dealing with your social network, how you're dealing with your elder siblings. So do not be aggressive. Do not be just because some people are not very pleasing to you right now, don't be aggressive towards them, or don't take them the wrong way. So some misunderstandings can also occur over here, which you need to be very mindful about, very careful about. So clear any misunderstandings, clear the air if you have any problems with your social circle, with your friends, with your professional network as well, right? Also, we see Jupiter in the 10th house. Jupiter is casting its Jupiter is a good planet for you, benefic graha for you, and it is casting its aspect on the Lagnesh as well. So there's a trinal relationship also being formed here. A very good indication, work-wise, work environment-wise, help from superiors. So all these things can work out really well for you. We also see Saturn Venus conjunction in the 7th house, and Venus will be moving out and moving to the 8th house, where it gets conjunct with Rahu as well. That could be a tricky thing. If you have any old health issues, they can become chronic, or they can become difficult to diagnose, or some complication can occur, especially if there's any health problem in the lower region of your body, so lower abdomen and below. There could be any health problems which can come up. It could be some infection, it could be some some viral issues as well. Anything which get time to get healed. These kind of things can also happen, especially with Venus Rahu together. These are the planets which indicate these kind of things, some problems. Venus is your third lord as well. So something which is long term, something which has been pricking you time and again. So take care of that. So that's why I'm saying, at the beginning only I said that for the Leo ascendant, you need to be very careful and maintain a very healthy lifestyle. So make sure that whatever you're eating, whatever you're doing, everything is very suitable to you. So don't let any issues get in your ways. And especially for females, this is a time period where you need to undergo any checkups if you are due for checkups. So please do all that as well. Also a great time for people for who have an interest in occult, or astrology, or past life healings, and all these things, whatever mystical sciences you have interest in. This is the time to delve deep into it as well, right? Then moving on to the next ascendant of Virgo. So if you are a Virgo ascendant, we have Ketu in your Lagna. Ketu is going to move out in another 4-5 months out of your Lagna as well, if that's some solace. Also, we have your Lagnesh Mercury moving from the 3rd house to the 4th to the 5th house. Mercury and Sun conjunction is going to be there in the 4th house, and then subsequently in the 5th house as well. Good time to learn things, good time to be creative, take up creative endeavors, spend time with your family, or if you have things to do with children. So if you are in the teaching profession, or if you work with children as such, this is going to be very eventful time. It's very fulfilling as well. um, Also, for those of you, Mars has been in the 11th house. Mars is again a class 1 malefic for Virgo. I always say that. So Mars is in the 11th house for you, and Mars is going to move backwards into the 10th house. This could be a period of uh, exercising extra care and caution about how you communicate, how aggressive you are. Sometimes you can be very aggressive towards people at work, or towards your professional network. So in your professional area, outside home, how are you conducting yourself? You need to be extra cautious over there. So keep your communication under check. That is very, very important for you. Also, Venus, which is again a very important planet for you. It's your ninth lord as well as your second lord. So the dhan and the bhagya both are governed by Venus. Venus is conjunct with Saturn in the sixth house, and it will move out, come to the seventh house, get conjunct with Rahu, and aspect the Lagna as well. Interestingly, there's also going to be an exchange between the seventh and the ninth lord, that is Venus and Jupiter. They're in each other's rashis as well. So this time period could be very interesting in terms of foreign travels coming up, or those of you who are looking at getting married. This could be a period where you get to meet somebody like-minded, or things could progress up further towards marriage if you're already in a relationship. So some progress in terms of your relationships can also happen. This is a very good time for people who are in business. Your luck can favor you. Your partner can really work in tandem with you. Your relationships can get better during this time. So this is a very interesting time for the Virgo ascendant, relationship wise, children wise, financially as well. Venus is our second lord, it is exalting in the seventh house. But work wise, or wherever, even if you are not employed anywhere, how are you dealing with people outside your home, outside your family? That is something which you need to work on, right? Or you need to be cautious about. Then moving on to the next sign of Libra. So if you're a Libra rising or a Libra ascendant, we see Venus is conjunct with Saturn most of the month for you, and then Venus is getting exalted, that is your Lagnesh, getting exalted in the sixth house along with Rahu, getting conjunct with Rahu as well. We also see Mars moving backwards from your 10th house into your 9th house in the sign of Gemini. We see Mercury, again a very important planet, it's your Bhakesh. Mercury is also moving out of your second house into the third house, getting conjunct with Sun, coming to the fourth house. So what does all this mean? This means that you're going to feel very competitive, first of all. Whatever work you do, whatever profession you are in, or whatever is your current project, current assignment which you are in, or if you are a sports person where competition or winning is very important to you on a daily basis, this is going to be a period where you're going to be putting extra hard work towards your goals, towards your objectives, and the time period is very supportive of it as well. And by the end of the month, when Venus gets exalted, that is the Lagnesh gets exalted along, and also being conjunct with Rahu, these results could really come up. So whatever hard work you're going to be putting in the initial part, it will bring in those results by the end of the month. So a very important time period, especially for people who are preparing for exams, or who are taking up some tests, or who are sports persons, where competition is there every day. So it may apply to you in various ways. So it's very important for you as well. Also, there is an exchange between the sixth and the eighth lord. So whenever there's an exchange between a Trik Bhava lords, the sixth and the eighth lord, so Venus as well as Jupiter, they are exchanging signs. This is an important period. Sometimes your old term or your old time problems get resolved. your your competitive spirit, or a viparit rajyo can happen. So sometimes when things don't seem to be looking good, they may turn out to be good later on. So these kind of things can happen, but again it depends. This is a general thing, general comment. It matters quite a bit on it depends on your natal chart, it depends on your dashas which you're undergoing. So in those cases where you are undergoing a Venus dasha, or when you're undergoing a Jupiter dasha, this period will bring in some important results or some important events as well, right? So this is a time period where you need to be extra careful about your health first of all, because a lot of results come in terms of other things, right? In terms of how you're connected to other people or other events. But when the 6th and the 8th lords are making connections with each other, you need to be very careful about your health. So don't let any bad habit or any unhealthy habit get the better of you. That is very important. This is a time period where if you're due for checkups, you should go and undergo your do your checkups, meet your doctors, and don't ignore any small problems. Also avoid road rage during this time, right? So that is something on the careful side, whatever you need to be careful about. Apart from this, those of you who are under any litigation, then this could also be eventful. Litigation, legal issues, this could be an eventful time where things start progressing towards some end, right? If you are fighting for some inheritance, this may be an eventful time where you can actually become more offensive towards your opponent. Or if you are due for some inheritance, this may also be something, there may be an eventful thing happening as well. So this 6th and 8th exchange is very important to note, and some way or the other it will apply to you as well. So for the Libra ascendant, I think that is the major thing which you need to see till this exchange is there, till it's valid. Apart from this, Mars, as I said, is in the 10th house, and Mars is going to be retrograde, coming back to your 9th house in the sign of Gemini. So again, workplace temper issues have to be checked. Do not lose your cool at workplace. This is especially there for the Libra ascendant because your 10th lord is Moon, and Moon is anyways waxing and waning, right? So there's an element of instability. And on top of that, if you have Mars, which is your Marak Graha, and it becomes retrograde also. So number one, it is your Marak Graha. Number two, it is retrograde. Three, it is debilitated, though it has Disha Bal, it has Stan Bal, but it is getting retrograde also. So a lot of things come together, make a very heady cocktail, and this can make you react in not so good ways as well towards people or towards people around you at work. So be very careful in your dealings, how you're dealing at your workplace. Also your Bhagyesh is going to be Mercury is going to be aspecting your Bhagyasthan. So this is again important. Some good events may occur. By the stroke of luck, you may get good events, good results. Some of you may also plan long journeys, foreign travels, far away, some holy places also you can visit. So all those things are also definitely on the cards for the Libra ascendant. So moving on to the next ascendant of Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio Lagna, Scorpio ascendant, we have Mars, your Lagnesh in the 9th house most part of the month, and then Mars, which is anyways retrograde, moves back into the 8th house. This is a time period in the second half where you need to be careful about any injuries, cuts, burns, how you're dealing with electricity. If you are into any risky sports or sports injuries, all these things have to be taken care of. You need to be very careful about your body, careful about your physical body. Don't get hurt in doing anything risky, right? So that is something which I would really caution you about. Apart from this, people who are in the occult fields or oil and gas, history, archaeology, digging deep somewhere, those kind of professions, if you are in such professions, then this is going to be an eventful time for you as well. Apart from this, we also see Mercury, which is your 8th lord and 11th lord as well. So the house of gains and the house of transformations, Mercury holds the key for that. Mercury is going to be aspecting the 8th house from the 2nd house where it is going to move. So this is going to be a period of gains also for you. So some income may increase, or some sudden gains may come by way of your spouse, by way of your in-laws, right? So it could be some unexpected gifts or a raise which your spouse gets and you also benefit. So these kind of sudden extra money can come in. So Mercury is going to be enabling that as well, right? Something which you have not earned, sudden gains can definitely come through this month. Also, we see Mercury and Sun moving out of your 2nd house and moving into the 3rd house as well. Travel may be on the cards, change of location may be on the cards as well for the Scorpio ascendant. We also see Saturn and Venus conjunction in your 4th house. Saturn in its own sign and Venus, which is your 7th lord, as well as your 12th lord, also being conjunct over there. So this shows more family time, or focus on your relationships at home, focus on your quality time with your spouse. So all these things, your house, your home is going to take up a lot of energy with the presence of these two major planets over there in the 4th house. So your relationships, how you're dealing with your relationships, your mother or your mother's health can also take up a lot of your time and energy. You need to be focusing there as well, right? So an eventful time period for the Scorpio ascendant. Also, we see Venus moving out of your 4th house, and then by the end of the month, Venus moves into the 5th house. And when it moves here, Venus and Rahu get conjunct. Jupiter is there in your 7th house. There's going to be an exchange between the 5th and the 7th lords. Good time period for people who are stepping up their relationship, or who are already engaged or looking at getting married, or you could come across meeting somebody new who could be a prospect in future. So I'm talking about matchmaking over here. So matters of the heart are really important for you in the second half, right? So Venus and Rahu here, Rahu being a smoky, shadowy planet, and Venus being the 7th as well as the 12th lord here in the 5th house. Now 5th house is the house of creativity, the house of Purva Punya. 5th house is also the love affairs or the romantic liaisons you have. So here it could make you get into some infatuation, or getting attracted towards somebody. This is also usually a time where secretly some secret relationships may occur, or you may come into some secret relationships. So these kind of things, Rahu being there as a smoky planet, there's a possibility of these things as well. Or you may secretly start liking somebody and then later on you talk to that person. So these kind of events are also indicated. 5th house is also the expression of your creativity. So if you are a creative person, if you're an artist, then this could be a period where you're able to come out with your creativity properly. So all these people who are on the limelight, actors, artists, social media people who are constantly there on the social media, influencers, etc., they can have a great time while Venus exalts in the 5th house along with Rahu, right? So using the ways of Rahu, that is using the internet, using the ways of communication, you can come across, you can influence a lot of people during this time. Then moving on to the next sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a Sagittarius ascendant, we have Sun and Mercury. Sun is currently in your Lagna and Mercury is going to be joining Sun in the Lagna. Sun and Mercury will move to the 2nd house as well. Also your Lagnesh is in the 6th house, retrograde currently, which is again something which puts a mark on your general well-being. raises a flag here. So you need to be very careful all throughout. Anyways, I mean, Jupiter has been here for a long time. It's coming close to the end of its journey in Taurus. So health has to be constantly checked. How you're eating, what you're doing, what's your health routine, how your medical checks. All this has to be constantly monitored, especially with Jupiter being retrograde over here. Another important thing which we see for the Sagittarius ascendant is in the 8th house we have Mars also retrograde and debilitated as well. So Mars is again a 5th lord, triangle lord for you, and Mars debilitated here isn't a very good sign. Mars is also going to come back into the 7th house of relationships, of your marriage, of your spouse. So the 6th and the 8th houses both have retrograde planets, and one of them is Mars. Mars is going to come to the 7th house and aspect the Lagna as well. Very, too much of care and caution has to be, undertaken. You need to be very careful about how you're dealing with your spouse, how you're dealing with your relationships, how you're dealing with people whom you do business with, because this could make you very impulsive and say things which you may not mean also, and this could damage your relationships in the long run. So this is a period where you need to really handle this energy properly. Put this energy towards maintaining a healthy lifestyle, working on yourself, working your physical body, sweating it out, etc., rather than communicating too much and communicating unnecessarily. So that is something which you really need to keep a check on. We also see Saturn and Venus conjunction right now in the 3rd house, and Venus is going to be moving out, coming to your 4th house as well, getting conjunct with Rahu again, close in degrees. So here you may make plans of travels. Some of you may also undertake a lot of travels here. Venus and Rahu coming together in the 4th house may also some of you may end up buying property or land, or land dealings may come through. But a word of caution, though you may come into opportunities which may look very good, you may look at some project, find it very good, but please do your investigations properly. Please do your due diligence very nicely, very properly, thoroughly during this time, because Rahu's smoky effect is also going to be here in the 4th house, right? So if you're dealing with land and property during this time, due diligence is definitely required. Also, there is going to be an exchange between the 4th and the 6th lord. So when Venus comes into the 4th house, Jupiter, which is the 4th lord, is in the 6th house, right? So there's an exchange between the 4th and the 6th. So be careful if you have any property, where the paperwork is not clear, etc. So some kind of litigation may come through, some kind of problems may come through during this time, right? So that you have to be very careful about. So that's why I said, if you can avoid making any dealings during this time, or making any formal commitment, formal contract during this time, it is better. So postpone it for some time, let things get better, things get clearer, and then get into anything like this. This is also a time where you need to pay attention to your mother's health as well. And if you yourself have any problems related to the heart, or related to respiration, chest area, then you need to undergo checks on time, right? Apart from this, for the Sagittarius ascendant, work wise, this is a period of hard work. Jupiter is there in the 6th house, which is anyways ongoing. So work wise or profession wise, I think this is a okay period, right? Mercury is doing well. Mercury is going to be there in the Lagna, and then further on moving into the 5th house as well. Important planet for you, the 7th and the 10th lord, that is Mercury. So here, work wise things are going to be okay. I don't see any major ups and downs. Then moving on to the next ascendant of Capricorn. So if you're a Capricorn ascendant, we have Sun moving into your ascendant by the middle of the month. So we'll have Sun and Mercury together. Currently, Sun is in your 12th house, and Mercury is also going to join Sun in the 12th house. We also have your Lagnesh Saturn in the 2nd house, conjunct with Venus. And Venus is going to move out. Venus is a Yogakara Graha. It's going to move out and exalt in the third house as well. So this is, this is a period of change happening. Saturn is anyways ending its journey in the sign of Aquarius. So another 3 months we'll have Saturn moving out of Aquarius into Pisces. So the changes which Saturn is going to bring are going to start kicking in, right? So hard work is going to increase, your travel is going to increase, the way you move around, your moving around, your running around is also going to increase as this occurs, as the month goes by as well. Also we see Yogakarak Venus. Venus is a Yogakara Graha, and Venus is conjunct with Saturn in the second house. So wealth wise, money wise, Venus, the Yogakara, conjunct with the second lord, that is Saturn, is a good indication. So from work or from your creative pursuits, or if you're employed, if you're if you're a service professional, this is going to be a good time, money wise, monetarily. So your pockets get heavier as you do more work, as you put in more work, so your dues may start coming now. So money wise, this is good. Financially, it's good. And we also see Mars, which is currently in your 7th house, retrograde as well as debilitated. So Mars is going to be moving out, getting retrograde, coming to the 6th house. This is a period where you need to be very careful about your communication, your relationship with your spouse. So Mars is anyways going to be here in Cancer for a long time, till June. So this angle has to be anyways, seen carefully. But now Mars is going to move back into the 6th house, into the sign of Gemini as well, which is an inimical sign again. So here, how you're dealing with your relatives, especially your mother's side, your maternal side, how you're dealing with your help, house help, or people who are lower than you, like your subordinates or people who serve you. You need to be careful there. Don't get ego or impulse get the better of you. So you'll have to deal with all these people properly. This is also a time Mars is giving you a chance to work on your physical body, work on your routine, work on exercise, moving yourself, right? So if your routine has been upset over the past few weeks, this is a time to get back into action as well towards better health, right? Also, as Venus moves into your third house and exalts in the third house, there'll be an exchange happening between the third and the fifth, right? So the fifth house is Taurus for you. Jupiter is retrograde there currently, and Venus, which is the fifth lord, is in the third house. So there is going to be a exchange between the third and the fifth houses. Very good for fifth house matters. Planning a progeny, childbirth, conception matters. This can bring good results. This can be a good period for you. Good news from children. Children can do better. Also, if you are a creative person, if you are an artist of any kind, this will be able to this time period will be able to express yourself better. You'll be able to do better. You'll be able to showcase your work better as well. Your journeys may also be good, right? So for work, if you're traveling around, this can bring in good results as well, right? So eventful month for the Capricorn ascendant. Then I move on to the next ascendant of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius ascendant, Aquarius rising, Saturn, which is your Lagnesh, is in the Lagna itself, and Venus is also there. Venus is a Yoga Karak. Venus is also there with Saturn in the Lagna. This is a good time in terms of your happiness, in terms of support from the environment, support from your family. Anyways, this is a good period which you're going through. And of course, it depends on the kind of dashas which you have, on the natal chart you have, but overall I see this as a good period. Also, Mars is there in your 6th house, right? So Mars is currently retrograde and debilitated in your 6th house, and Mars is going to move backwards, retrograde further into the sign of Gemini. This is a period where you need to manage your relationship with your children properly. So if you have grown up children especially, this is a time period to see how you're behaving with them, see how your relationship is going, right? So teenagers, or even if children who are like in their 20s 30s, this could be a period of little turmoil between you and your children. So you'll have to manage that properly. Don't get very impulsive, don't get anger get the better of you. So be very calm and composed, and it's going to be difficult being calm and composed while dealing with children during this time. Also, we have Venus moving out of your Lagna, that is the first house, and Venus will be joining Rahu in the second house. So Venus exalts in the second house for you. And along with that, Venus and Rahu are going to be very close in degrees as well. Good time period in terms of gain of money, gain of wealth, wealth building, your family wealth, your net worth can go up. You may come into better resources also. So this is an eventful time for you that way. Financially, pockets get heavier. And Jupiter is currently in your fourth house. So there is an exchange between Jupiter and Venus. So Jupiter and Venus are in each other's houses. Jupiter being in Taurus and Venus being in the sign of Pisces. This can be a gain of property, of land, of if it doesn't apply, if land and property also doesn't apply to you, if you're not planning to buy any house, etc., also if it doesn't apply, though it's a good time period for you, this will be a period of lot of internal peace coming to you. So happiness from your mother, support of your mother, support of your family, and happiness from your family members, from your home. Some of you may also, as I said, end up buying a new property, a better property, a bigger property, or redecorating their houses, beautifying their houses. So all these things, good times are coming ahead for the Aquarius ascendant. That is what I see, right? Sun is also going to be moving out of your 11th house into your 12th house. Sun is your 7th lord. So again, dealings with faraway lands, connections with foreign elements, all these things can also be on the cards for you. So monetarily, I think that is a very, this is a good month. Monetarily, the best, this is a good or the best, one of the best time periods in the entire month, in the entire year. Then moving on to the next sign of Pisces. If you're a Pisces rising, Pisces ascendant, we have Rahu in your Lagna. Rahu is also going to be here for another 5 months. And we also, what I see this month for you is Lagnesh, Jupiter is in the 3rd house retrograde. Saturn and Venus conjunction is there in your 12th house, and Venus is going to be moving out of your 12th house into the 1st house by the 28th of January. There is going to be an exchange between the first lord and the third lord, Jupiter as well as Venus, right? They are in each other's houses from the 28th of Jan onwards. And Venus is going to be very close in degrees with Rahu as well. So the results get amplified. So here I would say a lot of, travel can happen for you. Good travel to good destinations. Nice, comfortable travel can come up. This may also be a time period where you take up more initiatives, or you get the support of your friends, of your neighbors, of your younger siblings, and with that support you're able to take up more responsibility. So if you're somebody who's looking at starting some new venture, some new business, you may get a lot of support out here. You may get guidance, you may get if not monetary support, then support in terms of expertise as well, right? So all these things are definitely on the cards. This is also a good time to invest in learning, or invest in learning new skills, upskilling yourself as well. Also, we see Mars, which is currently in your 5th house. Mars is retrograde also and debilitated also. Mars is going to be moving backwards into the 4th house. Do not get into aggression, right, with your children or with family members, with your mother, or with people at home generally. So this is not a time to be aggressive. you may harm yourself in the long run. So that is something which I would definitely advise against. This may also be a time period where you get to do unfinished things. So if there's something which is unfinished till now in terms of your domestic responsibilities or your duties towards your mother, then this may be a time period where you're able to go ahead and do those duties. Visit your mother, visit your original ancestral places, and do whatever you're supposed to be doing, you were pending till now. All those things can be fulfilled during this time, but you need to keep a very calm head during this time period. Also, Mercury is moving out of your ninth house and moving into the 10th house. Mercury is also going to get the aspect of Jupiter when it moves into the 11th house as well. So both your third house as well as the 11th house are going to see planets. In the third house we have the Lagnesh itself, and in the 11th house we'll see Sun and Mercury coming together in the second half of the month. So this is a good time period. This gives a lot of support to the Lagna. Lagna itself has an exalted Venus. So this gives a lot of support to the Lagna to do things which you want to do, which you were planning to do, with the support of people around you, professional network, friends, etc. But the home environment has to be managed properly, right? Work wise, this seems to be a good period of gains, though a lot of travel plans may come through and you may be a little you may be moving around quite a bit, traveling around quite a bit because of your work. Health wise, do take care of yourself, especially if you have any problems in terms of respiration, breathing, or ENT related issues. If you're prone to, then you need to take extra care of yourself. So that was all about the 12 signs. I'll see you very soon in my next video. Till then, take care. Like the video if you liked it, and do not forget to subscribe if you're a new viewer. Thank you.